Let's open our chakras. Oh, that's too much. Let's close it back down again. Don't want to get all of that. Emotions. All right, I'll start crying halfway through. Let's center ourselves. Let's rub our chests. Let's deep breathe. Hello all of you little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, pick a list chosen by you, yes you, the person that is about to be attacked by crows! Imagine if that actually happened. Imagine if I just predicted your horrible, horrible fate. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week, you big ledge. And this week we have TJ Thomas and many others, because I actually spoke a little bit about how EA, well, for lack of better words, screwed the pooch quite heavily, quite a lot across their tenure. And a lot of people just said, why don't you just do 10 times that EA screwed the pooch? So here we are. This is WhatCulture.com, and this is 10 times that EA screwed the pooch. And remember, say hello to me here in the live chat. Oh, hello, that person right there. And drop your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comments section below. But right now, my friends, let's get on with it and have some fun with this list. Ooh, okay, right, so we're going to be sort of dipping into the shallow end of this deep dive into EA, and we found that the pool is quite salty because we're starting to talk about number 10, the Origin Forum bans, and boy howdy does it start to get my blood fizzy. So thanks to EA wanting to keep all of its player base in-house and in their pockets, Origins became their Steam competitor that acted as a kind of market and meeting place that had forums as well for gamers to gush about their latest EA purchases, I mean loves. However, it turned out that if you happened to be banned from these forums, this would also mean that you would be locked out of any and all of your purchases on the platform. Now, I know what you're thinking, that bans happen for a reason. Usually it's because people were either racist or homophobic or something actually quite terrible. Then you actually start to read the reasons why people were banned, and the most infamous of all was this person that got unfortunately banned and locked out of their entire library for the use of e-peen. I'm sorry you had to hear that, I really am. I'm sure that Osley is just piping in aghast crowd noises right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I said it on camera. I'll say it again, e-peen. Yeah, that doesn't seem quite fair, does it? However, the worst thing about this is that this e-peen case, sorry, I had to say it again, happened straight after EA had promised that the lockout wouldn't happen after an initial spate of complaints, meaning that they effectively promised to fix something and then just thought, nah. Big boo energy all around. Number 9, the Battlefield 4 release. So if you don't know about the Battlefield 4 release, then consider yourself lucky, because upon release this game was a f***ing mess. The game was borderline unplayable, crashing for many before they could even get onto it, and then being riddled with bugs and glitches for those, air quotes, fortunate enough to actually make it in. Now, major patches were still being done to this game over a month after it released, and EA would quickly come under fire from various law firms that felt that their initial advertising for the game was drastically dishonest when compared to the product that players actually got. But unfortunately, much like all of those terrible TV ads...
But wait! There's more!
Because unfortunately when they actually got to play test it all and DICE invited people in to try and fix all of the bugs by using it on PC endings, this actually ended up creating even more problems, because apparently the PCs were apparently not configured enough for them to get the actual data they needed to actually fix the game. I do not understand it, I am not a technical mastermind, and still I could just say that seems like utter billy. But still, that's the excuse that they gave it, and it was months after the game released that it was actually in a playable state. Guess which muggins bought the Super Extreme Special Edition? This guy. Number 8, adding microtransactions everywhere. So not to get into the utter quagmire of what is and what is not good microtransaction practice, I'll just list the ones that we can kind of all agree is okay at best microtransactions, that they are cosmetic, have no effect on the game whatsoever, are reasonably priced, and are not rammed down your throat at every single second. I feel like that is a fair way to do microtransactions. But EA took all of these sort of golden tenets for how to do it and just thought, yeah, we're just going to do the opposite to this. Because even games that aren't designed in any way to suit microtransactions suddenly have them in. I mean, you could just look at Dead Space 3, which allowed you to purchase material for the in-game crafting system with real, actual money. Why? This is a thing that salts my crack, my friends. If you're paying $60 for a game, you shouldn't also have to consider paying money just to progress through the title, and people are now so embittered with how terribly this system has been implemented that it has tarnished the word microtransactions so much that it is almost synonymous with the concept of being ripped off. And I know you don't deserve me ever saying this, EA, but not nice. Number 7, the Origin Systems debacle. So EA in its time has come across small developers, chewed them up and spat them out, much like the giant roving cities in Mortal Engines, and equally as stinky. That film should have been much better than it was. Anyway, I completely digress, but it actually had to start somewhere, and that was Origin Systems. Now, if you don't know who they are, then all you really need to know is that they made the Ultima series of RPGs, which was chef kiss. Right up until the point that EA took over, which led us to Ultima 9. That was hot garbage. So yeah, the Ultima series, open-world RPGs that were arguably integral to paving the way for the likes of The Elder Scrolls and Fallout, they were completely undone with Ultima 9, which was largely criticised by the fan base thanks to EA forcing the game to be more accessible by removing a ton of features and rushing development. It was the kiss of death for the developer, and they were absorbed into the greater mass without a trace. And the fan base, well, they were left with bugger all. In fact, I wrote a song for all of you lovely people detailing the trials and tribulations of being an Ultima fan, which I am going to ask my two main men to help me sing today. Osley, are you ready?
Yep, I'm always ready.
James, I hope that you're ready, my beautiful, beautiful friend. And also, boys, by the way, sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you there, James. Carry on.
I'm ready, Jules.
Yes, boys, I hope that you're excited, because today we're going all singing, we're going all dancing. I want production values, my friends, because we are doing show tunes, my friends. Yes, yes, yes. So get makeup on, let's get the costume ready, dress rehearsals, let's go. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. F*** you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you expect something more? Did you find the delivery forced and lazy and almost completely rubbish? It's kind of like there was a theme with that. Number 6, the server shutdowns. So one of the hardest things about being a football fan or an American football fan or insert third sport here is not only the fact that you have to carry around that awful weight of knowledge that you definitely could have scored that goal if you were on the team with your dad bod and your Sunday league football skills. I've met a lot of people that are like that. Not only that, it's also when it comes to your video games, you guys get absolutely royally screwed. And that's because of the yearly format of release. It means that these games never really have anything more than the barest essentials worked on, and they are utterly predatory when it comes to their online loot box systems. Mainly because of the fact that companies like EA have got huge licensing fees that they need to pay, so it is much cash as they can grab, and then they hit the reset button after all of this, putting your progress back to 0 again, and then basically saying, yeah, well, what are you going to do? You can't play online anymore because we shut the servers down. Give us more money. Give us more money. More money, no problems. That's our motto. Yes, on top of all of this, they are designed to be outdated almost immediately, and server support, as you might expect, is utterly atrocious. And EA made it somehow even worse, because not content with just shutting down servers and calling it a day, they actually offered a premium service for players to rent their own servers to keep games going, which sounds fine, right? Well, it turns out that they would often just let these servers go offline anyway after a while because they would just refuse to pay the people that they were renting them off. Why? Because it's time for the latest installment, you face. Now get out your wallet. Number 5, the Sim City Reboot. So the Sim Sim City. So the Sim City franchise is one that you would arguably say is impossible to get wrong, right? I mean, it's already been established. You've already got a loyal fan base, and all you've really got to do is take this crust, fill it with a bit of extra content, and sprinkle on some new options and maybe some graphical updates, and you've got a pie that is ready for the oven. Just got to be baked with a few trailers, a few hype packages, and you'll be able to do that. So let's just pop it in the oven. Oh, I dropped it! Oh no, there's sim ants all over it! That was the case for the Sim City Reboot, which was dog dick. Yes, that rather dramatic moment that I acted out was pretty much exactly what happened to the Sim City Reboot, as for some reason EA decided to make the game always online, which is just terrible enough. But then thanks to some awful server issues, it meant that players would sometimes lose a ton of progress through no fault of their own. This was, in short, unforgivable. And get this, the patch for an offline mode didn't come until its 10th patch. That is a lot of time that EA were desperately trying to use this online-only focus as being an excuse for just being like, oh, well, we don't want pirates to do it. We definitely don't want to steal your data or anything like that and keep you locked in. To be honest, though, it kind of probably worked, because after watching this absolute debacle, if I was a pirate, I'd look at that and just be like, I don't want to play it, even if it was free. Number 4, loot boxes. So given that, at the point of recording this, that loot boxes are in a state where they may literally become illegal, it's pretty safe to say that they're a bit of a shady practice. And you know what? EA are likely sweating buckets at this prospect, as they are the masters of milking their games dry through this practice. In fact, you will find it hard to point to an EA game without microtransactions, and the only thing more shocking than this realization is hearing the company's defense when it comes to trying to maintain that practice. Because according to them, they weren't loot boxes, they were surprise mechanics. It's just like basically saying, sorry mate, this isn't a mugging, this is actually a wallet liberation. It has painted them forever as the Del Boy of the entire gaming industry, looking for anything, any possible means of squeezing a bit of extra cash through any crooked measures they can possibly do. It's laughable, I look like I'm smiling, but I am furious inside. Number 3, breaking American federal law. So, as you might imagine, this one here, kind of a big deal, seeing as it involved multiple lawsuits and a huge settlement out of court. And surprisingly, one of EA's most costly errors was also one that you'd least expect from them as a company, because it involved the breaching of licensing an athlete's likeness. Now, as a bit of a history lesson for you, in the 1950s, this law came into being thanks to the popularity of baseball cards and athletes not getting paid for their likenesses being used. It was decreed that, of course, that the athletes owned the rights to their own bloody face. It makes sense. Yet for some reason, when EA signed a contract with the NFL and other football leagues, they assumed that it came with the rights to the players' likenesses, to which all of the players said this. No. Which resulted in EA being toe-punted by the law itself and being forced to pay out $40 million as a settlement. How do you like them apples? Number 2, hostile acquisitions. Usually I would come up with a funny way to dress this up. You know, I'm just going to read it out, kind of like an obituary of all of the developers that have been completely ruined by EA. They've been bought up, had all of their IP siphoned off and then sold for scrap. They've basically been bought and then taken round the back of the house to be old yellowed. So here we go. This is the list of all of them so far. Origin Studio, Maxis, Bullfrog Productions, Westwood Studios, New FX, Pandemic Studios, DreamWorks Interactive, Phenomic Game Development, Victory Games, Mythic Entertainment, Black Box Games, Playfish, and Visceral Games. And you know what? It's actually Visceral Games that holds quite a disturbing message, because in 2008, EA's CEO at the time came out and said, in gentle words, that they were sorry for the business practices that they had shown as a company before about snapping up developers and just selling them off for parts, and said that going forward, this would not be the image of the new company. Visceral Games was closed in 2017, and with loot boxes on the verge of potentially being made illegal, EA might be returning to some pretty shady practices, because they're just going to be looking for a quick buck and an even quicker turnaround. So watch this space, because we might see some even stinkier antics on the horizon. And number 1, the crunch lifestyle scandal. Now, many studios in recent times have come under fire for the treatment of its workers. And you know what, rightly so, because while we all would love to have a new Skyrim, a brand new game to play, it should never come at the cost of these workers. Their lives are definitely worth more. Their mental health, their satisfaction within their job is always going to be worth more than just the sheer entertainment that they can kick out quickly. I would rather wait for something that is decent than just have somebody burning out or really putting themselves in danger to try and appease a schedule. I think that goes without saying. EA's mistreatment of workers came to light in 2004 when the spouse of a worker revealed that they were commonly expected to work 13-hour days, 7 days a week with the, and this is a direct quote, the occasional Saturday evening off for good behaviour that started at 6:30 p.m. Now, the worst part of this isn't even technically crunch culture, because these employees weren't actually having to put in crazy hours and weeks leading up to a game that was about to be finished. They were expected to pull 100-hour weeks in the regular development period. So what resulted was 2 huge lawsuits at EA's expense, totaling around $30 million. And it seemed that after this, that the company would be going forward and learn from its lessons. At least that's what we thought. But unfortunately, rumours have been circulating that it never went away, that it's just being kept under even tighter wraps, and actually would explain why a lot of games that come out from the publisher have got so many issues and bugs. Because if you're working 100-hour weeks, your focus isn't going to be on the nuance of video games, it's going to be getting a goddamn good night's sleep. So to anyone who is working on these games, if you are a developer yourself and have to pull these things, my heart goes out to you, man, because you are creating entertainment for the rest of us. Please do not let it come at the expense of your own mental health. Take care of yourself, all right? And I'll usually save that for the end, but I'm mixing it into this final statement because, Jesus, after reading about all of these stories, it's quite sickening. But anyway, that is the end of this week's Choose Your Own Adventure. I hope that you enjoyed that, my friends, and let me know what you thought about down in the comment section below. If you want to chat to me further, then you can do so over on Twitter at RetroJ or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, my personal gaming channel, where I stream every Wednesday and Sundays. I'm doing a Fallout New Vegas stream tomorrow on Wednesday at 4 p.m. BST time with tons of Warhammer mods, and it's crazy. But yeah, hope to see you over there, my friends. But before I go, my friends, I just want to say one thing. We detailed today about EA and the times that it was just a bad guy that treated us and other people badly as well. But you know what, my friend? You should not treat yourself badly because you are a massive ledge. I know, as I've said for many weeks now, unfortunately, that there are many trials and tribulations that are going on in our world, and I hope that you are keeping yourself safe and happy and treating your friends well, treating your neighbor well, just spreading love instead of hate. Because at the end of the day, it's all about lifting each other up rather than punching down. Now go out there with love in your hearts, because I bloody love you, alright? I'll catch you next week. Take care, peace out, have a great week. Love ya.